Hey guys, hope you're doing well over there.
Nancy finished her time.
Oh, she turned out.
The last meeting was her
Wow,
last.
I didn't know that. So who we got? Jason.
Well, Nick's gonna be sitting in now with you guys. I'll be here.
Sanborn.
Jason
Sanborn.
Samber's
Yeah.
he just emailed me asking for the link, so.
So you got Nikolai, Sanborn,
Mhm.
Richard's supposed to be here,
Richard's supposed to be here.
Stan. So you guys are formed. But I mean, just approving some minutes and
There we go.
go.
People are coming
1,
in.
2, 3, 4. We're waiting for one more. 5 is quorum.
Five is quiet.
Yeah.
5 is quorum.
So we just got, and I think some. Are we online right now?
The microphone, Nikolai, you can hear us, right?
Yep. I can go on mute too.
That's fine. We just want to make sure that, so we're on live right now. It's not recording yet. So, but yeah,
But you're streaming on YouTube,
correct.
so we're live.
Hey, do you guys mind if I try share my screen? I got a little presentation. I might as well
Yeah,
make sure it works. Share, send request.
Wow.
So we need one more for Oahu, one for Molokai, and one for Kona.
We actually just got one from Molokai today.
Oh, yeah?
Like literally today.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Elroy
Molina.
Molena.
Hmm.
Yeah, we can see it, Nikolai.
Sounds familiar,
I
but
think he used to be.
If I
oh yeah. Oh, okay.
I can't see my notes right now, but if I let's see if there's a way for me to see my notes. I gotta cheat. I didn't practice that much.
Wow. Closed caption.
How do I see the notes?
You gotta go into the presenter mode.
Yeah.
Presenter mode.
Oh yeah.
Is that somewhere?
Uh, you're flying back this evening?
Yeah, then hunting away.
Need a ride?
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
offering. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll bring you.
Oh, 'cause-
I'm staying at the plaza this time. I think I'm gonna stay over there because I tried the Aston last time. It's like, it had a bit too much traffic, and most of my business is that side. It's closer to the
There we
airport.
go.
Better. Huh?
Oh, that's Richard.
No, all good.
Did you have to
Anybody
wait till
got any
for the
advice?
elevator or someone to open the door?
I just walked down the stairs.
Oh,
I should.
Good to see you.
yeah. How you doing?
Hey, it's my pleasure.
Good to see you.
Anybody got any recommendation on how to get to presenter mode? Or is
Hey,
it this
hello,
drop down?
hello, Nikolai. This is Jason. Can you hear me?
I can hear you good, Jason. How you doing?
Awesome, awesome. How you guys doing?
Great.
Awesome.
Oh, he's on the phone. Oh,
Jason. Yeah.
okay.
Cool. We got everybody.
There's no way to be.
Presenter layout. Nope.
Jason, if you can, we're gonna need you to put your camera on.
Nikolai, if you go to the slideshow tab,
Bingo. Got it. Can you see? Do you see my notes right now?
See like your homepage or the.
Or does it look good?
Looks good.
Okay, cool. All right. All right. I solved how to do it. All right. And I'll stop sharing. Thank you.
Does Jason have a camera?
Hey, Jason. Sanborn, can you turn on your camera for your phone?
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you. I stay trying from my phone. I'm trying to navigate it. It's asking me to go in my settings. Let me keep trying.
Okay.
Okay.
And then yeah, I don't know how to quite sorry. I don't know how to quite navigate this thing.
All good.
Hang on, I'll just try. Okay.
I think that's part of the sunshine law, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you all good on your end?
How do I? Yeah.
This is the only Kuyu shirt that I could find that would fit me.
That's a nice one.
One large?
We're not officially started yet.
No, no.
Okay.
We're waiting for Jason to
You guys like samples of venison jerky?
oh, sure.
It's New Mexico green chili.
Oh, wow.
I like my favorite.
Thanks, Richard.
Everything in New Mexico has green chili for it.
Either green or red. Yeah. The Christmas debate, green or red. Thank you. Oh, yeah. If you guys want more, just let me know, pass them down.
I probably will. I missed the lunch today, so.
Just.
I will,
down
yeah.
that side.
Beauty in the camera.
Yeah.
Brighter.
Yeah.
There's more people coming.
You can look at the chair.
Yeah, blue.
Yeah, I mean, if it's having technical difficulties. Um, let's see.
Should be on your settings, Jason. You can enable your camera and microphone.
It's almost like you only need to be on if you're voting on something.
Hmm.
You know, you must be visible on camera during the meeting. Remember, losing video, they may lose quorum or voting rights until reconnected. So. We can kind of, you might be able to go over stuff and then wait until we get to the minutes. If we can't, if he's not ready by the time we get to do the minutes, we can move on to the next one. If he's not ready for the next action item, we can just go through the rest of the agenda and go back to the action items when he's, you know,
Okay.
we want to try to do that. Jason, is that cool?
Let's give him a few more minutes.
Yeah.
I think he logged off and he came out. It's really good. Richard.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yes, I like.
You know-
When you're gonna start.
Yeah.
Give me like 2 seconds so I can record, because I messed up last time. The recording.
Oh, for real?
Was late, like, I don't know, 2 minutes into our conversation.
Oh.
Hey guys, I'm I'm having difficulty getting the video on.
Okay.
You guys can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you loud.
Okay, I keep on pressing I can see myself. I can see myself in the screen. And then when I press the plus sign, it's asking me to allow Zoom Workplace to access my photos from the settings. And then I change the settings. And then I give it full access.
Mhm. Yeah, it says here, open settings app, go to privacy and security, tap on camera and microphone individually. We have quorum if he's not on the camera.
No, we need five numbers.
Yeah, Barclays on.
Oh.
Yeah, we got the five.
Oh, so we're good.
Yeah, just for the action, you said?
Well, no, we're good because
Okay,
we
okay.
have five people that are visible
Okay,
right now.
okay.
So we'll let Jason do his thing until we get on our screen board.
Okay, sounds good.
Sorry, I'll be getting the next one. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna start recording.
Okay, starting recording. Ready?
Ready?
Okay, good evening, everyone. Today is Wednesday, October 1st, 2025, and the time is
5:13.
5:13. I am Stan Ruidis, the chair of the Hawaii Game Management Advisory Commission, and this meeting is called to order. Nick?
Sorry.
Report?
Oh, you can read it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was, if you didn't want to chair.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, with us, we have Nick Vargas, State Game Management, Game Program Coordinator with the Department of Land and Natural Resources, Division of Forestry and Wildlife. And before we get started, a few reminders. Please note that this meeting is being streamed live on YouTube. Please do not post comments on Zoom, as this is not visible to everyone in attendance. If you would like to provide verbal testimony, you may do so via Zoom. If you would like to provide written comments, please email nicholas.j.vargas@hawaii.gov. Meeting minutes and materials are available online at https://dlnr.hawaii.gov/recreation/hunting/ZMAC/. With me in the conference room, I have DOFA Wildlife staff, Jason Omick. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone, Jason Omick, Wildlife Program Manager, Division of Forestry and Wildlife.
Thank you, Jason. And also we have Richard First and Michael Johnson. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi, Michael Johnson, Maui Commissioner for the GMAC.
And Richard First, Oahu Commissioner for GMAC.
Thank you. And on Zoom, we have Nicholas Vargas. Please introduce yourself. Oh, Nicholas, what?
Nikolai Barca.
Nikolai Barca. Sorry, Nikolai.
I didn't realize our names had such a similar rhyme. Nikolai Barca, Kauai Rep.
Okay, and also Jason Sanborn. Please introduce yourself.
Aloha, gang. Jason Sanborn here, Big Island, East Hawaii rep.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, commissioners, and I'm also representing Lanai. My name is Stan Rudis. Okay. We have 10 items on today's agenda. Item number 2 will be the approval of draft meeting minutes. Number 22. Item number 3, review and finalize the Adult Care Academy letter of support. For item 4, revitalizing the Go Hunt Hawaii newsletter. Item 5, presentation and discussion on science-based population objectives for game animals on public lands, presented by Nikolai Barca. Item 6, overview game program activities, Nicholas Vargas. Item number 7, a short report by each commissioner summarizing their meetings with DOFA staff on the island they represent. Commissioners are to provide a list of hunting and wildlife issues for each island, including priorities and changes each commissioner would like to see. Item number 8, set future meeting schedules, locations, and potential agenda items. Item number 9, announcements, and item number 10, adjournment. Okay, we will begin with item number 2, approval of minutes for June 5th, 2025. Has everyone read the minutes?
Yes.
Okay. If members of the public would like to make comments via email, please do so now. In the meantime, are there any comments from the members of the GMAC?
Not for me.
Okay,
None from Sanborn.
okay. Are there any public comments on Zoom? None. Okay, are there any public comments via email?
Refreshed and I don't see anything.
Okay. Okay, at this time, I entertain a motion to approve or disapprove the draft meeting minutes of June 5th, 2025.
This is Richard first. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from June 2025 meeting.
I second that.
Okay, a
Michael
motion,
from Maui.
a motion is made by Commissioner First, seconded by Commissioner Johnson. Any discussion? Seeing none, I will now call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye, and those opposed say nay. And let's do it one by one. Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
Commissioner First,
Aye.
Commissioner Barca,
Aye.
Commissioner Sanborn,
Aye.
DOFA staff Omic.
Aye.
Okay, and the chair votes aye. The vote is unanimous and the motion passes. Okay, moving on to item 3, reviewing and finalizing the Care Academy letter of support. So from our last meeting, Chair Ruiz had asked for the development of a letter of support for the Care Academy so that it may encourage the appropriation of additional funds to increase the amount of trained officers to protect our natural resources. This letter is coming from the GMAC members and will be used for demonstrating the essential nature of doe care and Hawaii game management, natural resource protection, legislative fund requests, and highlighting the Doe Care Academy program. Has everyone read the letter,
Yes.
commissioners?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, there's any comments from the commissioners?
Not from Michael.
None from Omic.
Okay,
None from Sanborn.
None from first.
okay, thank you, commissioners. If members of the public would like to make comments via email, please do so now. In the meantime, are there any comments on Zoom? Seeing none, are there any public comments via email?
There's none on email, but I'd like to
Okay, go ahead.
comment. So the way the letter is written, right, this is Nicholas Vargas, statewide game program coordinator. The way that we developed the letter starts off with the summary. The second portion is providing support or reasons for providing support, and the third section is reasons for receiving additional funding. So the main thing I wanted to ask you guys, for the commissioners, if we wanted to like shorten this up or take any points off, if you guys are okay with how it's written right now, it's fine. But I did It's 3 page or 4 pages long, so I don't know if that's something that we should probably adjust. I just wanted to include as much as possible for right now, and then, from you guys, if you guys feel like this is fine, we can keep it as is.
Thank you, Nick. Are there any comments from the commissioners?
This is Richard. I don't think the length of the letter is a problem at all. I
Okay.
feel like the information that's presented is concise enough. And you know, you've done a good job of laying out the reasoning for why you're presenting it the way you are. So I would say it's good to go. Perfect.
I would agree.
Yeah, my comment on the letter is awesome job. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve or disapprove.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, we have something?
There's a hand raised, Clayton.
Oh, okay. At this time, we'll look at our Zoom and Mr. Clayton Kubo, please unmute yourself and can we see
I
you?
just like fly some stuff out there.
Okay,
Okay. That's all I like do. Okay, so I gotta just be honest, you know. In fact, I won't turn on my camera. How's that? But hey, no, but I don't more shirt, so I'm gonna only kind of focus on my face only. Okay, so you know, as for me, you know, I'm not the man, but I've been going to the state capitol for I think now for over 16 years. And last year had some, you know, well, not last year, but this year, 2025 legislative session, had some bills for help out, you know, dog care. But I guess gotta be honest, I don't even see you guys over there. You know, it's like you guys is the commissioners. You know, you guys should be taking an active role when it comes down to legislative stuff. So I hope what I'm going to say or what I'm saying is going to put some, you know, fire underneath the Okole kind of action. Because as far as I know, wasn't only this year, was last year, was even the other year had another bill also too. So I look forward to having discussions with you guys about the legislative stuff. Mahalo nui.
Mahalo Clayton, thank you for your testimony and it's duly noted. Okay, are there any other comments from Zoom or email?
Nope, refreshed. It's
Refreshed,
Yeah.
okay. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve or disapprove the letter to Duke Care for the Duke Care Academy letter of support.
This is Richard first. I will make a motion to approve the letter for Dog Care Academy support.
I approve as well. Michael from Maui,
Okay.
Commissioner.
Okay, we have a motion made by Commissioner First, seconded by Commissioner Johnson. Any discussion? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I'm gonna take a vote one at a time. Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
Commissioner First,
Aye.
First Staff Jason Omic.
Yeah, this is Jason. I think this is a great letter to push forward to the department and also can be used as a tool for legislative you know, items that may come up and or to share, you know, this is something that the chair can use. We can use as a tool to help incentivize them to help fund and continue this recruitment process. So I think this could be a tool that could be used in the legislative session once we get there. So, but I approve.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Commissioner Barca.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner Sanborn.
Hi, this is Sanborn. I agree to the letter as well. Aye.
Okay, and the chair votes aye. The vote is unanimous. Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to item 4. discussion on revitalizing the Go Hunt Hawaii newsletter. The last newsletter was developed in February 2022. Members of the public and GMAC commissioners have requested that the newsletter start up again and be more active to highlight game program activities statewide. In scientific research, hunting related issues, project highlights, updates, news, and much more. If members of the public would like to make comments via email, please do so now. In the meantime, are there any comments from the members of GMAC?
This is Richard first. I think this is a really important part of the overall communication strategy for the public. I did not make it all the way through the Big Island Game Management draft plan, but a big part of what I made it through was about public engagement and communication strategy. So I do feel like this is an important thing that we need to bring back to life and be able to utilize as a good tool. I would like to encourage that to Clayton Kubo's point just a minute ago, I'd like to encourage that we include legislative issues that are coming up that we can get people involved with. I think it would be great also to try and identify and call on various hunting organizations that exist within the state to participate not only in the formation of content, but also highlighting the things that they're doing so we can bring more attention and ideally more membership and involvement to those groups. Because public involvement is key to what we're trying to accomplish here. And I think the best way for that to occur is by folks getting organized and grouping together to make their voices louder. That's it.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner first. Nikolai, Commissioner Barca, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I loved reading the Go Hunt newsletter back in the day. So I'm stoked to see it. I would be stoked to see it up and running again.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any other commissioners have any comments?
Michael from Maui, I definitely think it's important moving forward for people to be educated on the topics. I would like to be a part of certain topics, whether they pertain to hunting or safety or equipment or anything related to being out there and engaging with hunting, helping out. Yes.
Thank you. Jason, is this newsletter printed or just available online?
Can be both. It's available online and you can click on it and download it and print it off too. We could make it available at the front of our office for people to pick up or any appropriate areas like the different branches and stuff. And we also can email this newsletter out to all hunters if we wanted to. So there's a lot of avenues to get it out there, but the main place is on our website, our hunting website. You go to the newsletter area and you can click and download the really nice PDF 2-pagers.
Could we make it automatic for to be notifications for anyone that buys a hunting license?
We can look into so that like they're on the what exactly do you mean there? Like,
well, I'm saying that say like when I'm fishing in Alaska, as long as you signed up for their license, you have a notification, also a report that you can make as far as a game report. A lot of people forget about the Go Hunt Hawaii newsletter. So if there was a link that was sent off, is it published monthly?
It can. We usually publish it every couple months. It's getting the information that we want to put on there, and so it depends on like if you guys have lots of ideas, we can just keep it rolling every month, of course. And I think like when you buy a hunting license, you're providing your email address. We can we have a list of all those email addresses and we can add that to our email program that will email everybody the new issue.
Yeah, I think we should do that and then give them the option to opt out. Maybe some, they don't want, they call it junk mail.
Unsubscribe.
Was that?
Unsubscribe or.
Yeah, they can unsubscribe if they want to, but at least give them the opportunity to see it, because some guys, I guess, they're not too, they cannot navigate as well.
Yeah, right now we have people opting in if they wanna
Yeah,
view the letter and we'll send it to them.
yeah.
But we can maybe do something where they're opted in automatically
Mhm.
when they buy the hunting license, and if they wanna not no longer, if they would like to no longer receive the newsletter, they can opt out. So we can work on something like
Yeah,
that.
I think that would help get the word out, because a lot of people just don't know that it's out there.
Mm.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other comments online or email?
There's a hand, Nikolai's hand.
Oh, okay, Nikolai.
Yeah, that's what that reminded me that when I go fishing in other states, they automatically do sign you up, and I get like a ton of emails from the other states. But yeah, it definitely is the better way. I think I agree. Opting, forced, automatic opt in, and if they want to opt out, they have to do it manually. That I feel like that'll get more people get the word out easier.
Yeah. And
I
then,
agree.
thank you, Nikolai. And yeah, I guess the content, we can just work on the content if we wanted to add more.
Yeah, if you guys have any ideas right now or something that you have to think about, we do have a list of ideas. If Nick can roll them out for you guys if you
Yeah.
want, but if you guys have anything first that you'd like to maybe see in the next edition, maybe we can tell you what we have, and then you guys can think about maybe something that you guys might like to see, and we can go that way.
Yeah. Maybe make an article about the outer spatial.
Mhm.
Yeah, how to navigate that and when to use it, when how to use it.
Oh, we think the same, Stan. I have that right on.
Oh, right on.
Can we
Okay.
add in there some little blurb within that about the importance of hunter harvest data to the overall development of game management planning and the limited data that we have anyway, and how that can play a really important part.
Mhm.
I wanted to ask, can you, because I'm not as familiar maybe as you folks, the sort of development process. What does that timeline look like? Who's involved? What's the normal process that you folks are going through to
make the
put it
newsletter.
out and issue? Yeah.
Usually when we're working on projects, or we complete a project, or we're in the middle of a research project, and we have some findings, or after game bird season, when there's information that we can display that we think that hunters would like to see. Basically, it could probably take about a week to 2 weeks to make the new issue. And it's just formatting stuff, and you're building, you have to be able to use the computer and some programs to build the PDF and put some nice photos in there, and the information that you'd like to see in there. But you can probably build one in one day and publish it. We vet it through our leadership to kind of show them what we're going to be putting out in front of the public, and they may want to provide a couple edits or something like that. But it's fairly process. We're just really showing data that's factual data that we're collecting, and or highlighting projects that we're working on that we think hunters would be interested in. So yeah, I would say for me, if someone asked me to make the new newsletter, I would say, okay, give me 2 weeks. Let me get everything in here. I'm going to send it out to you guys. You can take a review. Let me know what you guys think. And then with everybody's okay, we can go ahead and get that for our leadership. They'll okay it, and then we can process it. If we're going to be trying to go through our comms office to kind of do a little, maybe shout out through Deal in Our News that this newsletter is be revitalized, and we want them to be involved in highlighting some of that stuff. We usually give them like a week in advance notice or something like that. That we want to work with them on that. But I think everything can be done within 2 weeks to try to get something out.
Okay. So funding and logistically, it's not an issue to have
It's all
bi-monthly
electronic,
issue.
so there's no you know, if we're printing some stuff out and putting them at the branch, you know, maybe there's a little bit of a cost there, but if we're just distributing it electronically, it's just our time that we're spending to develop the newsletter, which is something that we kind of include in our job description anyways.
Okay.
You know.
And is the intent that the content is unique from what's on the DOFA announcements? Like particular hunting area announcements or closures in certain locations or season openings, things like that?
This is Nick Vargas, state game coordinator. I don't think it doesn't have to be, or it can be specific, or we can like follow a specific format, or we can be like free form. We can add whatever we want onto it. I would recommend that it's always hunting related, or somehow like if it's an issue that affects hunting. But as long as we stay to that type of topic, but I'm all for even having like seasonal newsletters, right? We can talk about last year's lanai hunts and have that every single month for the end of that or the start of that season. We're gonna focus solely on the lanai hunt. It's really free form, and it can actually be from you guys too. You guys can make requests. So we would definitely want to include you guys on that process.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah, if you look at the ones that are up right now, I kind of kept the same format, usually a couple different highlighted stories, or, you know, introductions of projects that we're working on, or like we're releasing outer spatial or something. I put some information about who the GMAC members are and who we're, you know, we promote, if we're needing another seat to be filled, we can put some of that information there. Hotlines for DLNR, GoCare, in case the hunting thing is going on. And then, you know, so usually like 2 stories, and I usually have like 4 other little boxes for just to fill in some other pukas in there. But you guys can develop any kind of format. I just felt like if you had 6 pages of things that people are like these like 2-pagers, where it's a bunch of really good information in 2 pages, and then boom, go do it again the next month. Boom, go do it again next month. There's some months where it's like, okay, what are we gonna write about? You know, but there's, you know, Nick has a pretty big list I looked at today, and I'm like, oh, all of the, you know, that can be 6 issues right there. So, you know, but you guys, you know, we can freeform it. Figure out, the font wants to be a certain size so people can read it, and, you know, people like to see pictures in certain things, but, you know, pictures take up a lot of room. So, yeah, if you look at the other ones, how I've done it in the past, you know, we can follow that, or we can, you know, hybridize it a little bit.
Okay, good. I remember a few years back, I think we used Go Hunt Hawaii to do a survey. But we were working on, you know, formulating a survey for hunters. I think was that just a link to get to a survey?
That was through SurveyMonkey that we used, and so we could have a talking point in one of the newsletter issues about what people would like to see in a survey.
Yep.
And there you can kind of fish that out, and then we can develop a survey.
Okay.
And get feedback through email or something like that from the public. Or, you know, you can even publish little survey cards in the newsletter where you're getting feedback from folks. But we have done 2 surveys, I think one in 2016 and one in 2018, maybe a little bit later, where it probably had maybe 60, 70 questions in there, where we're asking all kinds of different questions, from where do you like to hunt? What are you hunting? What kind of means of take are you using, you know, so on and so forth. So, but even trying to go out and create a survey, you gotta figure out like, what are you trying to get out of it? And so you gotta kind of boil down and figure out what are the good questions to ask. And so maybe having something in the newsletter where you're trying to fish for some of those good questions that we want to get out to the public to ask, you know, so, you know, it's worth your while in doing a survey. But yeah, we can develop a hunter survey again through SurveyMonkey. So maybe we can send you like what our old survey was and the results from the old survey. We can look and see if we want to change some of those questions, see if people are changing like the islands they're hunting on, and so on and so forth. But Yeah, we can kind of revitalize that survey and try to develop something to get out to the public again.
All right, sounds good. Okay, anyone else have any questions, comments? Okay, seeing none, at this time, entertain a motion to approve or disapprove the,
This is not an action item
oh, it's not an action?
right here. This is more of a discussion thing,
Oh,
but
I thought I
if
saw.
anybody on Zoom or in the room would like to throw out any ideas they'd like to see on the hunting newsletter besides some of the ones that we talked about, we're willing to see what
Okay.
other folks are thinking. Other than that, we'll just say that we'll move forward with continuing to develop this newsletter every few months. If we can get every month, that's asking a little bit, a lot, you know, because it's like, it's gonna take us 2 weeks to make it. But maybe every other month, we can try to start right from there
Yeah,
and go down that road and get this newsletter back out there.
okay, sounds good. Okay, so I guess this is placed on file.
And I just wanted to say one other thing, Chair, is that we do, you know, we have an email address on there, so if folks do have ideas to the newsletter, you know, they can email Nicholas Vargas at the email,
On the agenda.
yeah, on the agenda, and we can, you know, pull in some ideas that way also.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, moving on to item number 5, presentation and discussion on science-based population objectives for mammals on public lands. Presented by GMAC Commissioner Nikolai Barca. Nikolai?
Thanks, Dan. Let me try and get it pulled up here. Go share screen, PowerPoint, share, presenter mode. And then let me see if I can get it to where I can see my own notes. Okay, you guys can't see my notes, right?
Nope, we can see you.
Cool. All right. Well, I made this presentation. This is kind of I've been trying to advocate choosing population objectives for managing game animals in Hawaii for a while, and I've kind of honed in on, you know, when it comes to how to figure out a number, I kind of honed in on this idea of like identifying what is the carrying capacity, and we could base the number off of that. We didn't, I guess we're not getting into the Big Island Game Management Plan, but you know, we reviewed it and I looked through it and I was trying to find anything to do with like population objectives. And the best thing I found was in the definitions, they kind of mentioned they specified, you know, game management as a definition is a program that promotes sustainable animal populations at or below carrying capacity of available habitat. And then later on in the document, they say one more time about when referencing feral pigs and management strategies for all the animals. It said a follow-on effort would include establishment of the carrying capacity of each area of interest and an estimate of risk to native species and that kind of stuff. But nobody seems to know what the carrying capacity is yet. In the hunter safety course, you know, we're kind of introduced to the idea. Some might remember something like this from it. You know, the land can only hold so much. And so just pulling a definition, you know, the carrying capacity in definition is the maximum number of animals that a particular habitat can support without causing damage to the ecosystem. And I covered this in the last presentation. It doesn't look like there's too many new people watching. I'm gonna try and split through this, get through this a little faster. But you know, trying to get people to pick a number, like I get so much hesitancy from people when it comes to setting any kind of population goal. And it seems like either people are concerned that it would be unnecessarily low, or that, you know, if you're an environmentalist, like they worry it would be too high to have any kind of conservation benefits. And so without the right data, like people have seemed really unwilling to agree on a target number. With one commonality, generally everybody generally recognizes that the game numbers should be under the carrying capacity, with maybe one weird exception of like fuel load suppression. But why have a game population goal anyway? Why not just continue on this path of arguing over it and being fearful? So I liken it to a road trip. If we don't know where we're going, how are we going to know how to get there? And when we do get there, how are we going to know when we arrived? And the parallels are, as hunters, if we're going to be reducing animals somewhere, like such as for axis deer in parts of Maui, like reduce it to what? What level? How much do we have? We have to know how much we have. We have to know how much we want. And we need to know how many animals need to harvest it to reach that goal. And then how many harvests are required to stay at that goal. So I'm going to show 2 ways that I've been working on to identify a number by defining carrying capacity. And so in a nutshell, 2 methods I've been looking at. I'm sure there's more out there. It doesn't have to be the way I'm showing it. It's just meant to be kind of an example. Both involve habitats. And so the first one, this is the one I got the most experience working with, is what I've been calling the indicator species method. And so whereas in that method, you monitor a plant or a suite of plant species that the animals really like to eat. And then you can compare it with a control from a fence. And if that species, if the species of plants that the animals like to eat the most, if they're doing okay, then you can bet that most of the other things are doing okay as well. The plants of choice have a few traits in common. And this is from New Zealand. This is a New Zealand method. They're usually common species. They're easily identifiable, easily visible.
Hey, Nikolai,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I don't think your presentation's working. We can see you. We're still stuck on the title page. So I don't know if you pan to other slides just yet.
I have. I've been going through them. Hang on one second.
Sorry about that.
Oh, thanks for letting me know. Let me go share again. Let me go to the presentation. I think I maybe know what the problem was.
Can let them know that we can see him.
Jason, Sanborn, we also see you. So just a heads up. We got you on camera.
Okay, you can see him right now, right?
No, no.
We're just seeing your video.
Okay.
See your mouse moving across a black screen though. On one half.
Let me try share. Oh, why do I have so many options? That's weird. Let me try this one. What do you see now?
Okay.
We see it with your notes.
Yeah.
Interesting. Let me X out of this real fast. And slideshow. And let me go again. Sorry for the technical difficulties.
It's all good.
Now there's only one visible to me. That was kind of interesting. Got it. And then I go to this, and you guys can see them, right? Can you see it right now?
Oh yeah,
Now we do.
So we
If
see
I
the
switch,
title page. Yeah, we can see it now.
and then you see the third shot right now with the bucket.
Yep.
And if I go to, I'm gonna go to show presenter view, and I can see my notes right now. Can you see my notes?
No, we might see them.
Can I just flipped the slide. Can you see the slide?
No. Stuck on the bucket. Maybe just leave it at where your comments are shown. Because we could still
Yeah.
kind of see the
I had to do that last time when I was in the office. Okay, I'm gonna go share. I'm gonna go. Okay, I am flipping through them. Can you see the slides and my notes?
Yeah.
All right, go real quick. This is my first slide. I talked a little bit, barely talked at all. Then I talked about the wording in the Big Island Game Management Plan, and I kind of read the wording that was on this page. And then I talked about the bucket that people might have been familiar with from the hunter safety course. You can see that right now, right?
Mhm.
And then I talked about this slide, which I've given in past GMAC meetings. And then this one was meant to be a little bit of a funny slide when I was talking about, if we don't know where we're going, how we know when we got there. A couple of people arguing over a road trip. And then I gave this one. So this is what I talk about. There's two methods I've been kind of honing in on. And as far as the indicator species method, so the species they use in this, they got three things in common. They're common species. This is from New Zealand again. Common species, easily identifiable and visible, and they respond quickly to changes in browsing pressure. And the two examples I have here are hapu'u, which is a major food source for pigs in a lot of forests, and then there's a splenium fern, which is kind of a relatively common fern that the deer happen to like to eat here on Kauai, up in the Alakai. And so in this approach, I kind of got it into like a 4-step method. We did, and this is the way that we did it. I'm just kind of sharing this with you, the way that we've been kind of developing it. We started with a stomach content analysis. We did that for deer. That gave us a really good insight into what they're eating. It turned out they had like really high preference for certain species. And so we started monitoring those species over time in the environment. And then at the same time, we're taking data from game cameras to monitor animal abundance over time. And this is with trail cameras, but you could do this with like surveys, trail cameras, hunter check-in station data, etc. And then you can take all that data and kind of, I've been plotting it this way. So you can take that data on vegetation and animal abundance and plot them against each other to see the relationship and the trajectory over time. With the goal of, in this one, you want the dot to fall in the green. Just to lay this in even further, I've given this before to this audience, so I'm not going to get too into this, but this is kind of like a version of it. It's got that dash line for carrying capacity. You kind of need to figure out what that is through trial and error. And then the higher the animal numbers, if they're over carrying capacity, the higher the animal numbers, the faster the vegetation change will occur. And if it's above carrying capacity, the change will decrease. It'll decrease, so it'll go to the left. And it can get into like a degradation curve. And you can see there's quadrants, no overbrowsing, not overbrowsed, etc. And then so the goal in conservation has generally been to like reduce the animal numbers below carrying capacity. Like we don't fully understand that we were doing this, but that's what we do. We try to get it as low as possible. So you see the green area, and that allows vegetation to increase to whatever it wants to be. And what I've been advocating is that if it gets below carrying capacity, it's going to increase. The vegetation is going to get better and better. The habitat's going to get better and better. And if it gets to an area that's similar to within a fence, like could that be considered successful management? And you'll see in this that there's actually more animals in the end than when it starts. And it's funny because I gave this presentation to like diehard environmentalists at the Hawaii Conservation Conference. Not this one, but a similar one showing this concept. And nobody seemed to have an issue with there being more animals in the end than when it starts, because the habitat quality was in good shape. So, we got one thing in common. Everybody wants healthy habitat. A lot of caveats to this whole thing, but, let's try it. What I've been doing in the last bunch of years is trying to do a proof of concept of this idea. And so I'm going to be showing you what is a little less preliminary now. Preliminary data from stuff that I've been working on in my day job, and I'm hoping to publish it for scientific peer review sometime soon. So this is going to be from the Alakai and Kauai, from the drinking glass unit. And sorry, there's nothing on this slide. I'm just reading to you. This is from Malka of Waialae Cabin. Deer will have reached this area in the early 2000s, probably, and had been increasing ever since. And so we have this trail camera data. We got trail camera data from this region stretching back to 2018, where you see the pig icons start. Um, and after a bunch of years of looking at this camera data, like there's so much variation, but I finally figured out that if you do like an annual number of sightings per camera per year, a big average, it sort of drowns out a lot of the variability. And so I started to get good trends. And this is just with three cameras. So it's like super cheap. And so kind of on the left half of the slide of this graph is like, well, in 2022 there was a fence built, and that's that line you see, and that's why the animal sightings dropped down to zero after that. Um, but the idea was that like as they're being reduced, like could we compare the improvements that we're seeing in the vegetation and get some idea of what the carrying capacity was. And so before the fence was built, this is for pigs. Pigs are the orange line. There's a little bit of variability, but I think that's probably to do with the guava season and whatever it was doing downhill at the time. There's not too much guava up in the fence, but there's a big grows of it downhill. Everybody still going good on this presentation? You can see the slide.
Yes.
Nick, Nicola, I had a question. Do you think maybe there was control efforts happening before the fence was going up, that maybe that downward tick started happening, or?
Oh, before the fence? Well, it's kind of like an average for the year. So actually, since the fence happened in September, it kind of has data from both before and after the fence was up, and there's some wild dog issues that occurred at the time. So it's not real clean data, but yeah, that's sort of why it starts to. Those are the two reasons, I guess, why it starts to go down. But if pigs have probably been in this area since the 1800s, so they're relatively stable in the population, but the deer are relative newcomers. And so, if the first deer came in maybe the early 2000s and we're seeing an increase year by year, imagine like a 20% increase each year. And we didn't have data for this area before 2018, but I was able to look at a nearby camera, which at the time, back in 2015, had the most deer sightings we had ever seen out there. And it only got 20 deer sightings per year. So I think this kind of shows half decently what happened. You get this new deer population and it's expanding um, and reaching what in New Zealand they might call like an episodic eruption. But I think there was some wild dog control going on too. I think the wild dogs started kind of hitting them hard. We also had back calculated deer density data based because we age each of the deer that we removed from the fence unit, so we could reconstruct what the population was in any given month, which kind of suggests that after the breeding season of 2022, after the start of the fawning season, it might have reached 30, almost 35 deer per square mile. So nothing crazy compared to axis deer, but these are black-tailed deer and they're in a dark native forest. And so what that looks like on the ground is, and I think I've showed you guys this before. This is 2018 when the beginning of peak deer, and by 2022, like when I look at this, I don't see deer food. Like I see some native plants, but they're not the stuff that the deer really eat. They've eaten most of those things already. And we were taking data on that. So this kind of shows what happened to those plant species. And so they declined, a suite of them that I was measuring declined from 6.5% to 1.5%. You can see the deer level on that black line, just to give some idea of what was going on at the time. And then when we reduced the numbers, it started to increase again. And so we also have pig data, but it's a little, there's so much, what would that be? Ho'eopharon, that's the dark blue, that kind of drowns it out. So I actually, in the later slides, I'm going to only show what happened to the tree ferns. So this is kind of like the result of taking all that data and throwing it on that plot, that Alakai plot. This is for pigs. Doesn't show a whole lot. All we have is the trail camera data, but the habitat's improving. But the deer's a lot more interesting. So this is the data. So there's two lines going on there. The orange line is the camera data. So that's the average deer sightings per camera per year. The blue is what we back calculated with the population density using their teeth. And you can see they track pretty well. And so we can kind of tell by this that at what would that be? A little over 25 deer per square mile. And bear in mind, that's supposed to be like a minimum population density. At 25 per square mile, they seem to be over carrying capacity, resulting in a depletion of their favorite food sources. And then we reduced them and we started seeing improvements And the main takeaway, it's meant to be more like a proof of concept because we reduced the numbers so fast that we didn't really get a great gauge on what the carrying capacity was. But it's safe to say that like 25 deer per square mile was above it and 10 deer per square mile was below it. Like I'm pretty sure it was around like 15 to 20 per square mile, which was 20 per square mile is what they recommend for mainland US forests. So and this is what it looks like. So when I look at this, 2022 peak deer, I don't see a lot of deer food. They don't, that fern right in the middle, like that what was that? Elaphroglossum fern, like they don't eat that. And likewise with a lot of the plants you see, they just don't really eat them. And so this is going to be 3 years, 2 years later, and that's a lot of deer food increasing. And so I see Asplenium ferns, I see Ethereum microphyllum, and I see the pig food, the Hapu'u tree fern. And just a year after that, like look at that Hapu'u on the left. Like that'll provide a full meal for a pig now. And so kind of what I'm advocating is don't, I'm just reusing this slide. Don't, this doesn't have to be with this location or it could be anywhere, but I'm kind of suggesting like maybe in an area that's a game management area and we want to have high animal numbers for hunters. Maybe in this case, it maybe we want the deer numbers to fall within that red area. So habitat recovered, good habitat, supporting trophy animals, healthy does that'll produce healthy fawns that'll grow into healthy trophy animals. Um, that's still, and it doesn't seem like a whole lot when you compare this to axis deer densities, but this is like double the density that Unit H has. Um, and then maybe in areas like, whereas like in a mixed use area where watershed value, where both like hunting and protecting the native biodiversity is the goal, maybe the goal could be for the dot to fall into this area, higher vegetative, higher vegetative cover and perhaps a little less animals to get there. And then areas where watershed and native biodiversity are the primary objectives, like where they want suppression of game by hunters, they might want the dot to fall somewhere in this region with high vegetative measurement and whatever level of animals it takes to get there. From the hunter's perspective, we wouldn't want it too low. So, and then I'm hoping that one day these goals like this, or any goal, it doesn't have to be this goal, but I'm hoping that like animal goals can be incorporated into policy. And so kind of what I've been envisioning is like, I'm hoping that like every hunting unit or forest reserve would have goals for animal densities. But in talking to Nick Vargas, like it sounds like even if they were just internal policies, like that would still be useful for things like setting bag limits, or other rules like that. Even if they weren't official policies, they can still be useful, still be integrated to support DOFA policies and for hunting rule changes. So yeah, H1 active hunting management, that's your GMA. So H2 moderate hunting, H3 low intensity hunting management. Maybe the goal could be for it to fall in that region, like like for H1 it could be like 70 to 90% of carrying capacity, and likewise for the other ones. So that way it could fit into policy. So that's that method. That's kind of where I've taken it so far. And then I've been exploring this forage-based model, and this is pretty cool. So this is something that people have been telling me for a long time that I should look into, and I finally got around to it. For those who don't know, like this is like where you take you measure the amount of forage growth, you dry it, you weigh it, you get a pounds per acre of forage growth per year, and there's a lot of Hawaii data that already exists. There's a pasture group that has done a ton of analysis, so they have models already. I don't know if they're published. Someone shared it with me. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be sharing it, but it was pretty cool. So pretty basic. Carrying capacity is like if you want to get a deer per acre or something like that, it's basically just annual forage production divided by annual forage needs per the animal per year. And that's in a nutshell. Like you can get really fancy with it. Um, but yeah, you dry the forage, you weigh it, and this could be done, and it could even augment the other method. Um, And then you can adjust it and make it more accurate. You know, if you actually measured your forage, like you can make an approximate off of that for that model that was on that last slide, but you could also just go out there and actually measure it. And then they usually apply a utilization rate. So it's common in pastures to do like a 30% utilization rate. Don't need to get too into that right now, but there's a lot of things you can do with these. And so they kind of look something like this. This is a very dumbed down version of it. And the numbers are astronomical at times. So so here's an example estimating carrying capacity of goats. Add the parameters, 7,000 acres, maybe 500 pounds forage per acre. You know, it's a little bit of a dryland forest area, forest reserve. A little bit of feral cattle in there, but mostly goats. You can make this more accurate if I had more information. But if you make the utilization rate up here 100%, that'll tell you the carrying capacity, because that's basically that the animals are eating every bit of growth that is produced that year. Anything above that will start to reduce vegetation. Anything below that would probably grow vegetation. And then what they usually do is put a lower rate, because you don't want to be utilizing 100% of your forage. It's if there's droughts and stuff, you're going to be in for some hurt. And so in this version, I just switched it to a 70% utilization rate, and then so that can give you like animal targets. Like, okay, on the bottom here, animals per square mile for goats, like 292 goats per square mile, total population of 3,188, or a goat per every 2.2 acres. Relatively low. Again, when you run these numbers, the numbers can be astronomical. This is another variance. So this is like, I thought like, oh, if you're say a cattle farmer on Maui or Molokai, you could perhaps a tool like this would be valuable, where you can input your forage and you can get some idea where you want to get to. So you could put a 30% utilization rate. You know, you got 2,000 pounds per acre per year. A cow eats 25 pounds a day. A deer eats 4.5 pounds a day of dry matter, mind you, not wet food, but dry matter. And then you can say like, oh, I want to put 90% of my feed to cattle, or if I put 90% of my feed to cattle, that makes it 10% to deer, and it'll spit out a number, and you can say like, okay, on my 2,000 acres, I want to manage for 73 deer, 23 deer per square mile. That leaves me 118 head of cattle on my area. So you know, you could use this to do that, and you can fiddle with these numbers. You know, maybe you want more deer. You can see what it looks like. And if you make the cattle number 0, the amount of deer, like, you know, we have like a lot of areas with 200 deer per square mile, and that's like nothing compared to what these pastures can actually sustain. Like the numbers can be astronomical. So it really kind of opened my eyes to how like it's really the combination of having a bunch of cattle on the land and then adding some deer on top of that is what leads to a lot of the woes. So I thought this could be a cool tool for help ranchers, you know, get to a number that they want to manage at, you know, like, because, you know, there's a value to the deer. Like they're more valuable than the cattle, but they're just harder to use at scale. You know, so in this case, you know, 73 deer would leave. You can do the math on how many you can sustainably harvest per year. You can do the math on how much you need to catch to get there if you know how much you have. Yeah, and that's the presentation.
Thank you, Commissioner Barca. Any comments from the commissioners?
Yeah, any thoughts?
I had one, you know, looking at your, you know, for your indicator species, you're using plants. Did you ever think of, and you started talking about the ranches and deer and stuff, but have you looked at like multi-indicator framework where, because you could be using plants, game mammals, invertebrates, all at the same, it would make your model stronger having more than one indicator species.
Yeah.
And I guess you were just using multiple plant species as indicators. Have you tried, or maybe you did and I didn't catch it, like have a multi approach where you had, you know, plants and maybe game mammals? And I mean, from the game mammals, you can, you know, you can be looking at the health and horn size and all kinds of other things.
Yeah.
What kind of were you using other indicators besides just plants?
No, in that case, I was just using the plants as an example. But yeah, I definitely can see instances where those would improve the whole thing.
Yeah, I'd say like if we tried to go down this road and we're looking at some of our hunting areas and trying to make these decisions that having, yeah, that stronger application with multiple and, having a multi-indicator framework where it would just make that make your solutions stronger at the end, like
Yeah.
make your data stronger, I think, and that would be something that we could, when we're trying to talk to leadership or other folks to try to make some of these, to try to do some of this research and data collection that we would get I think it would just go over a little bit better because we just have a stronger set of data, but.
Okay. Yeah, and I should specify too, like I'm not trying to tell people what to do. I'm hoping that like these tools can be used by others to justify and hone their own things of what they want to do. And even with that forage model, like I was toying with it, like looking at you can do like for Lanai, like you can do like an animal unit equivalent, and maybe they've done this already over there. Maybe they've already done all this stuff, but yeah, you can assign like a ratio of sheep and deer that you want in the population and figure out like a number to manage for that way. And again, I'm not trying to like, I think they're on the right path. They probably got the right numbers already. And what my hope is that they could use tools like this to prove that those numbers are all good when the environmentalists come calling and are asking questions. Knowledge is power.
Yeah, yeah. No, awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Nikolai.
Anyone else?
So this is Richard first. I will preface this by saying I have no training in biology or game management at all. However, I can absolutely appreciate why having this type of data is so important. And so I just want to say mahalo, Nikolai, for doing this work and bringing this conversation forward. I think it's really important. I learned a lot in reviewing the draft Big Island game management plan, sort of about the history of game management in our state, and some of the issues that are unique here, where we don't have, for example, native species that we're managing for game production, but we're actually dealing with a focus on native species conservation, preservation, and invasive game mammals, which for everybody but the hunters are a pest, a nuisance to be eliminated. So having this type of data, I think, is extremely crucial in being able to address that argument directly. Clearly from a financial standpoint, hunting in general brings more dollars to the conservation table than any other activity in the United States, period. Like that needs to be at the forefront of our conversations when we're talking with conservationists and people whose focus is on native species preservation. And having this data that supports the idea that zero is not the number and unlimited is not the number, but there is a number in between, for each habitat area, for each species, and for each conservation goal. And so I think this is really important work that we should definitely be pursuing as much as possible. My understanding is that for the large part, like this type of data isn't generally publicly made available in any state in terms of game management. Like they're not showing their cards. But this is part of the equation where how they calculate, tag allocations and so forth in limited draw areas throughout the country. Obviously, we don't have those types of concerns with the exception of Lanai and a couple of the units on the Big Island. But even outside of that sort of environment where you are managing for a specific number, I think it's still useful information and beneficial to have data that we can identify a reasonable carrying capacity and a target number for a certain species, and provide a more active game management approach even for areas like, for example, on Oahu, I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but had a really good conversation with Jason Misaki, who explained to me that on Oahu, we're there, he's managing for opportunity, for hunter opportunity, not for any particular target of animal management, animal take. But it's just getting the most people on the ground outside as he possibly can with all of the different user groups available, or interests rather. And so I understand that, it's not necessarily a priority in that sort of model to know how many animals you should be managing for, or even necessarily what your population is accurately for a certain area. But I would still argue that having that data is always beneficial, no matter what the scenario is, even if that's not a major part of the equation, in game management for a particular unit, it's still useful to have that data. So I fully support this effort.
Thank you, Commissioner First. Anyone else? Anyone on email, Zoom? Nikolai, you got your hands up? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking about making a motion, but I feel like we ought to discuss it more first. I was thinking about making a motion that for the state to start directing resources for research on habitat quality and carrying capacity. I don't know if that sounds good.
I don't know if.
I'm not making the motion right now, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
I mean,
in
it's something
a
we can put
discussion.
on, something we can put on a future agenda. I think there needs
Yeah.
to be a little bit more thought into where we would pinpoint something like this. I mean, there's areas where it's highly degraded and you're not going to see the outcomes you may want to find. So maybe we need to look at a hunting area where there is a lot of native habitat there, and we know there's a fair amount of animals, and it's not 50 or 80,000 acres large, and we can try to pinpoint an area that we can try to roll out a research project looking at some of the same things that you're doing here, but in one of our game management areas. And then from there, we can take that data to use that as a tool to try to expand it elsewhere. So maybe between now and our next meeting, we could throw out some ideas on where we can pinpoint an area to maybe think about trying to do something like this, to collect data like that, and then have an agenda item on our next meeting to say, to vote on, like, yeah. So maybe a SWOT, like a little analysis of the area that would be best used for something like this. I don't know, is that something along the lines that you were thinking about, Nick? And then maybe putting something, Nikolai, and then maybe putting something on the agenda of trying to maybe secure funding through PR or something to initiate a project like that?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't want it to be limited to the just the native areas, because most of the areas where we have our hunting are not in native areas, and I feel like it'd be a good tool just to well, again, the goal would be to like figure out, and what I'm hoping is that we'd figure out population objectives for different units. So I'm not sure if you're suggesting that more as like a case study, like try one first and expand from there. I mean, it could be models, like it could be modeled. That's another way to do it.
Well, I mean, the impact that we have from game mammals is on native plant communities and stuff like that. And so in order to use, a plant as an indicator species, they got to be there. Like, I mean, if we have a bunch of goats in an area that's all fountain grass, do we really, of course, we don't want 1,000 goats in the same area, but maybe we want, 300. So it's not, they're not eating everything, but I was just thinking it would be more bang for your buck to do it somewhere where we're actually seeing a change in the native resources right there, rather than going into an area that's more degraded. But maybe you need to do both. You can have a control, so.
Yeah, and hopefully the numbers are pretty transferable. You know, like, if it's something as easily as, well, it's not gonna be, but I mean, what if it was just as easy as just certain rainfall regime gets, you know, a certain amount of animals per square mile, and then you just draw a box around and do your acres calculation, and it spits out a number. Um,
So,
but
yeah,
no,
like,
we can do that too. It's worth a lot of discussion.
was-
I'm not prepared to discuss. So.
well, yeah, I would just say that if we want to try to get something on agenda to like agree to approve, to vote on something, to like try to move forward with a specific type of project that will show us this type of information, like, you know, let's think of how we would wanna put that, how would we want to word that on the agenda so we can kind of move forward and then, you know, think about the next steps to implement something like that. And we have done lots of different types of research where we're collecting, you know, data on the health and nutrition of wildlife in certain areas. So there are things that have happened across the state everywhere that we can kind of piece in some of this indicator information already.
Mhm.
And maybe there's places that, oh, we already have like the health of the animal and the ages of the animal and the nutrients they're getting from the landscape, but we don't have anything about the plants. And so, oh, we should use this data with, you know, some new data. So, yeah, just think of how we would like to propose that in an agenda, and I'd be happy to, you know, try to work on something that like that with you guys.
Cool. Thank you.
Is it, pardon my French, but is it pissing in the wind to think that we would do something like this in Palila habitat to address the issue of full eradication of all game mammals from those locations? Because I know that's kind of that's a big lift, right? But I don't have a problem being ambitious if it's
I have my
if it's
opinion on
meaningful.
it.
I think we're past the Palila thing because they already did the fencing. So you have to collect data before the fencing and after the fencing.
Well, there's still animals on Mauna Kea,
Yeah, but on that
a lot.
particular area.
I mean, yeah, they're still flying helicopters every 2-3 months, so there's got to be something
Yeah.
out there. They're not just sightseeing.
According to hunters that I talked to, the Palila bird population actually went down
Yeah,
after the fencing went up.
that's the same thing I
And
heard.
because of the habitat became, I guess, overgrowth, and now it's a potential fire hazard.
Yeah, actually, there's, and I like someone correct me if I'm wrong, but there is actually a small uptick in the numbers. But the fence still is not completely buttoned up. There's still one more section in Kukaiao.
Oh,
And they may even decide to fence the whole core habitat, which is, you know, Kauai's side of the mountain. But, you know, this type of project, putting the game cameras out and collecting data, you know, we're doing this, we have all kinds of remote sensing data collection things on Mauna Kea. Putting some more game cameras out there and trying to collect data, you know, could totally be doable. But, you know, we already have a program to remove all the animals from that mountain. But from, you know, there could be other areas we can do this, but possibly on Mauna Kea.
mhm. Okay,
Yeah, I got a comment on that
go ahead.
because you know
Okay.
in 20 years that fence is going to be no more. It's going to be getting holes all through it, and I think if the groundwork is laid today, yeah, that's the kind of information you could challenge the court order with. If you say, hey, we got better information that rather than zero animals, that like 20 sheep per square mile, like the Palila is doing just fine, or the Mamane is doing just fine, and that it's growing back, it's perfectly healthy. And that at this level it would cause a decline, but we're not at that level. Like I think that kind of information, yeah, would be able to challenge the court order. And the opportunity, right, is not going to be anytime recently. Most likely, it's probably going to be when that fence is falling apart and they got to replace it, and they're going to be like, hey, do we want to spend X million dollars doing that, or do we want to do this other method that has been hopefully proven to work by that point in time?
Yeah, and you know, I mean, for Mauna Kea, there's, you know, I don't even think, there's no bag limit up there right now. We are, shooting up there throughout the year, and it's like, maybe putting an actual bag limit will make people go hunt more. I don't know. It's like some of these things you don't know unless you try it. And over the 15, 20 years that I've been visiting Mauna Kea since the fence has gone up, the Mamani has really came back. And I mean, I don't know what the limiting factor of the decline in the Palila is. It's probably predators. Knowing that there's still sheep on the mountain and Mamani is regenerating, I don't know, there's something to be said there.
Okay. Go ahead.
And sorry, I just want to make a comment. Nick Vargas, DOFA. So Nikolai, I appreciate you doing this presentation. I think everyone agrees here that this is it can be a very useful tool. I'd like to make a request to see, I would like to see that, like Jason was saying, we should continue this and make this an agenda item for the next meeting. But I would also like to see the GMAC commissioners. Maybe we need to start thinking about, like, from your guys' islands, are there specific hunting units that we could maybe test this on? Even just starting like preliminary projects. We can even look into citizen science kind of thing, where we could have hunters that already go out there and collect the data for us, right? So the other option, like Omik was saying, was that we can maybe look into having funding this research, right, professionally done through the university or having students do it. But I think this would be a helpful tool. And I agree with Nikolai that we should start collecting data now. The cheaper option, citizen science, right? Ask the hunters, we can make a survey, do something like that. But yeah, that's my comment.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Nikolai. Okay, with no further questions or comments, let's move on. Item number 6, overview game program activities. Nicholas Vargas.
Okay. I will try to make this real quick. Okay. So what I've been working on, or working with the other branches, right now I've been tasked to draft the Wildlife Revolving Fund reporting year for 2025. So making a ledger report for that, compiling all the data from all the different islands. So it's basically what they're using these funds for certain projects. Some of the general concepts would be like our game bird rearing program, working with volunteer hunters, to establish our put and take systems.
Or the ledger report is for.
The ledger report is for sending it out to the legislature.
Well, so we have a Wildlife Revolving Fund ledger report, which he was talking about right there, and that's hunting license revenue coming into the department. The legislature asks us to report on that every year of our expenditures and revenues, and then what did we do with the money? And so we write a report on that and we publish it on the deal on our website under reports, and that we're reporting on last year.
Yeah.
Revenue. And so that is that's like published in December or something like that every year.
So yeah, all of our previous reports are on our website right now. So you could see all the ones that we've done in the past. I think it goes to 2010.
Yeah, it goes back about a decade.
2008,
So hunting license, tags, application fees, everything that we collect is shown in that report. And then how we put that money out on the ground, whether it's for salaries or operation maintenance.
So when is that report due for you?
I'm gonna wrap it up this week, send it over to our to my supervisors for review, and it's due by the end of the year.
Okay.
So yeah, the second ledger report I've been working on is the Game Management Advisory Commission report for 2025. So I just drafted it. Olmec already checked it out, so I'm going to be sending it over to you guys for review.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Also just been working on the Outer Spatial app. Just working with our ArcGIS staff for updating hunting facilities, area descriptions, adding outings. These are some features that we can do to help enhance the type of information that we have for hunters. Oahu has two of them that I did when I was the game biologist for this island, and it's helped out a lot of people. Staff is able to just direct hunters to this outing, specifically Makua Kiao. It just tells people like where to park, where's the actual access route, the approved access route, where the check stations are, and where's the best route to get into the actual hunting area. So I'd like to see more of these features out on all the different islands. So if you guys have any issues, or if you guys have hunters that are wanting better access descriptions, let me know and we can update those features. We've been looking into filling in the empty GMAX seats, Molokai, West Hawaii, and a member at large. Funny enough, we got a member for Molokai today, like at lunchtime. So it was approved. So now we just need two more seats.
Okay.
Yep. Been working with the Hawaii Game Bird rearing put and take projects with all the different islands. Beginning to coordinate with other islands about their game bird orders. We want to start planning for breeding, incubating, brooding, and rearing projects.
So that'll be expanded to the other islands, or just Oahu?
This is all the islands. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Each of the islands so far, I don't think Lanai or Molokai has a program, but Maui, Hawaii Island, Kauai, and Oahu
Mhm.
have this put and take system.
Would it be feasible for 6-week-old chicks to be shipped to the different islands? And
I can send you guys how the process is, but since I manage this project on Oahu, it's kind of difficult to ship over 6-week-old chicks. They have a lot more stress, and you might have a lot more die off trying to send them over.
as
to the
opposed to
different-
day-old chicks.
Day-old chicks are very hardy. They can, I mean, when we order them, they're coming from Wisconsin, and they make it just fine.
Yeah.
So 6-week-old chicks, I would prefer that. It's like the easiest option. Just put
Yeah.
them in the fly pen and make it easy.
Yeah.
I wish that every single time, every season, but we would have a lot of die-offs.
I used to raise game birds for everyone on the night.
Oh, nice.
I even donated some to the state at one time.
And did you try sending 6-week-old?
No, it was actually I didn't want to deal with the avian bird flu, so I shipped eggs in, incubated it, raised it to 6 weeks old, and then sold it to the game bird facility that they had on Lanai.
Yeah.
But
So,
if we can, if Maui can have one, Kauai can have one, that would be good.
Yeah, and that's actually my next topic, is like researching other game bird farm companies willing to send over day-old chicks. So
is it cheaper? I guess it would be cheaper to ship in day-old chicks than to rear the broodstock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But other islands, Kauai and Hawaii Island, right now they're actually doing the whole entire process. So they're collecting eggs from their fly pens, they're incubating, brooding, and rearing them and releasing them.
Okay.
So those two islands have really good programs along with their volunteer programs that are.
I think the highest cost is the feed.
Oh yeah. Feed is, and that's where we thank you guys for purchasing your hunting license, because the feed is definitely a high cost.
Game birds in Hawaii, it's a good, not really a good activity for, like, it starts next month.
Yep.
Right? All the way to January, and then you got spring turkey season on some islands. Game birds are good for the economy and for the hunters. So I'm glad you guys, continuing that process. I kind of mentioned that when my first term I was on, that I wanted something, like that to happen.
The good thing is that like Oahu's project is a good example of getting the volunteers, public hunters as volunteers for these programs. That's the key thing, is just getting both sides, DOFA and public hunters, to help out with it.
Well, we got the Go Hunt newsletter.
Yeah. Oahu finalizing the Makaha Board of Water Supply Wildlife Control Program. So we had two meetings from in between our last GMAC meeting that we attended, DOFA and BWS. We were just discussing plans and steps to move forward. We're getting everything finalized. The plan has been approved. We're basically just wrapping up, and BWS is to host public meetings to inform user groups and communities. So we're just doing the final things. And then after that, we will have a permit up on our website. People can apply online, and that's a whole new area.
That's awesome because, you know, a few years ago, that was a big issue
Yes.
on that area. I'm glad the department and the Board of Water Supply and the hunters can get along.
Hawaii Island, Jason and I will actually be assisting with their annual game bird surveys this month on Mauna Kea. So we'll be over there. Lanai, I'm trying to schedule something with the Maui game biologist to observe the hunts, check stations, field operations, and attend some public meetings. So hopefully we can get that scheduled. We're also have we're working on, we actually got approved for a grant for Highway 190 on the Big Island for a fencing project for Pu'uwawa and Pu'anahulu, where the whole point of it is to stop animals from getting hit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of animal vehicle collisions. So we got approved for that grant, and they'll be able to get materials for that.
Whose land is that?
It's a state hunting area,
Oh, yeah?
all along Pu'uwawa, Pu'anahulu, and you know, there's a lot of cattle fencing there right
Yeah.
now. Barbed wire, we're getting the barbed wire off of there because bats get killed by barbed wire. So we're removing all that, and some of the ungulates are getting through that fence here and there, and so putting up an actual like ungulate fence, not like a full deer fence, but ungulate fence, no deer there. But we'll be doing that all in front of Pu'uwawa, eventually on both sides of the road. And then going down a large area of Pu'uwanahulu along 190 has no fence. And so we'll be trying to put a fence there. And, you know, there's a big fire break there too. So it's basically we'll go along that fire break. And, you know, we'll continue to try to work with DOT and other folks, but, you know, going up DKI, that fence is not skirted to the ground. And so animals are just going right onto the saddle road and getting slaughtered.
Yep.
And so trying to deal with those issues eventually. But right now we want to fix what's in front of our hunting areas first and then try to work our way up there. And I think there's been some other fencing going on next to Gilbert Kahele Park there where we have Taka's cabin, and it's a big safety area there. So we've been fixing some of the fences there to keep the animals out because some people decide to go in there and go in.
Okay. Final notes, Kanayo, developing an archaeological plan and preservation plan. There's an AIS that was approved by SHPE. Hopefully we'll be introducing around 6,000 acres of new hunting opportunity there. Last but not least, Jason and I, we were able to fight 2 fires between the last GMAC meeting. One of them lasted 10 days. So I appreciate you guys' patience on that. I know it was a lot of.
I remember I called you and you said you were fighting a fire. I said, oh.
Yeah. And we appreciate all your guys' DOFA staff that came down. It was actually a big ops. So a lot of the firefighters from all the branches came over and helped us out. Yeah. That is it.
Okay, thank you, Nick. Any comments from the commissioners?
You guys are wearing a lot of hats, so thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you. And any public comments on Zoom or email?
Not seeing any hands, and I refreshed. Yep, 0 on the email.
Okay, so moving on to item 7, a short report by each commissioner summarizing their meetings with DOFA staff on the island they represent. Commissioners are to provide a list of hunting and wildlife issues for each island, including priorities and changes each commissioner would like to see. So we will start with Kauai Commissioner Nikolai Barca.
There we go. let's see. Two things to talk about. Kalalau. They had a control hunt recently for pigs and goats. Um, the way it was planned was pretty complex, but yeah, they got some hunters in there. They caught 12, I think 10 pigs, 12 goats, over the course of 2 days. They're allowed to bring dogs. It was like stated they could only use shotguns with buckshot. There's some interesting rules, and it sounds like they had a lot of success. They got a lot of input from the hunters, and they probably want to do it every year, at least once, and that they're thinking of ways to improve it next time. So, and that was not so much Kauai Dofa as it was state parks. And I have not talked to them directly about it. And then the other cool thing is we're in bad need of a shooting range on Kauai, and it's sort of been this long running issue, and it sounds as though a previous location, one of the previous potential locations, which when I heard about it, I thought it was a great spot, but then was somehow overlooked in the early phases. The whole thing has kind of come roundabout, and now they're re-looking at that location, and it's still in the early preliminary phases, but crossing my fingers there that that'll one day be a good shooting range for us over here. And that's what I got.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Barclay. Anyone has any questions for him? Nikolai, does the shooting range, would you want it to be run by the county?
I think they said something. I would imagine a lot of that would need to get figured out. I'm not sure. I haven't asked yet, like what details are hashed out yet. I was told that the hunter safety program was potentially the ones who were able to like get the funding for it. And so it's possible that they might be taking a bit more of a lead on it. The location that I was referring to is up in Wailua by Loop Road. I don't know whether I should be putting that detail out, but that was the location. So those familiar with that site, that was the spot.
If, you know, the grand project that we were trying to push forward, this is a doe care initiative through Hunter Education. They get Pittman Robertson funding also. They've been stocking funding away each year to build a coffer that they can use with CIP money and other monies to manage a big shooting range. Now, when we went out and did the development process of designing the place and figuring out where we're going to put it at, we had a pretty big footprint with all kinds of, you know, shotgun, pistol, long gun, archery, you know, and it's like, this would cost 15, 20, $30 million. So it's like, wait a minute, maybe we can rethink this a little bit and shorten, make the footprint a little bit smaller, and we can expand over time. And so this one location that Nikolai is referencing is a place that we looked at in the past, and there was a small wetland or something going on there. There's a pu'u there. It's a perfect like backdrop. And so it's something that we're looking at, that maybe we can have a smaller footprint area there, and build off of that and utilize the funding that Hunter Education has now. And so it's really their project. We're going to try to do what we can to help them get that money out the door and get a shooting range in somewhere. We need to use this money within the next year, maybe even less than that. And so they can possibly get extended. Or they can go to Big Island and build an archery range or something like that. Who knows? We thought about building some indoor ranges on Kauai. But all that costs money too, air ventilation things. And so, but this little spot that we're looking at right now, the Kauai branch, is kind of researched out. When we met with the contractors that did the site analysis, and we told them to go back and look at their notes and shorten the footprint of the shooting range to see if there's other places that we can put this. There's all kinds of things that go in that are involved in finding a site, the slope, what you're pointing at. The place that we really wanted to make it behind Cluppa Mountain, it ended up being like you're shooting straight to where the airplanes are coming right into Lihue. And then DOFA might start managing the back of that mountain for hiking, and we don't want to be and so then you're putting all these a lot more infrastructure into the shooting range that, you know, you'd be making your own SMIT right there, and it's a lot to it. So how can we, with the money that we have right now, build something that's sufficient for Kauai right now? And this might be the spot. And so we're kind of talking to Hunter Education saying, hey, you know, this might be a good spot for it. And so we'll continue those conversations and fill you guys in on that.
How was the Big Island one at Hilo? Is that operational?
We don't have any shooting ranges on the Big Island. I mean, the state has a mile marker 22, which is, you know, some berms and an area that you sign in and you can go shoot. So yeah, people stop there all the time. But we did have that other place in Pu'uanahulu that we did all the range testing and range firing to figure out if we could do that. And then the hotels down there were like, nope. But it's possible that we can go back to that site because I think they may realize that it'll bring a lot of revenue to their hotels. And there's a lot of other things making noise around there, and it wouldn't be just the shooting range. So possible to look at that site again. But the one off of DKI, a lot of people use that, and we're gonna go back there. Hunter Education is gonna go there and build another berm on the other side. So we have three berms. I think there's one not on the Hilo side, it's just Kona side and looking towards Mauna Kea. So yeah, we're gonna build another berm over there and clean that place up a little bit more. But yeah, so a little bit of work over there.
Oh, good. Thank you, thank you. Okay, moving on to OL Commissioner, Richard first.
So as I mentioned earlier, I met with Jason Misaki, he's the district wildlife manager here on Oahu. He talked about some new protocols that will be coming out in the future, trying to increase methods of take to include air rifle and crossbow for certain locations, try and increase hunter opportunity again. And then potentially also trapping on agricultural properties and golf courses. They apparently did a pilot project working with specific ag landowners and golf courses and organized hunter groups. And they deemed that it was a couple-year project. They deemed that it was relatively successful. Funding was used up, but they would like to continue that. But the issue is that they can't have individual hunters participating in this. It has to be like organized groups. So they have been working with Pig Hunters Association of Oahu for that effort. They'd like to have additional hunting groups organized and be able to, you know, utilize that type of program. And then, like Nick was mentioning before, opening up additional lands, border water supply lands over in Makaha. It's a property up Makiki side, and then of course Tantalus, which is currently kind of in this like limited hunting opportunity state, and we'd like to open that up some more. And then just for bird propagation, he said only might expect about half the birds this year than in past years, because he's been having issues getting stock from the mainland. I did also reach out to Pig Hunter Association of Oahu twice, but did not receive a response at all, unfortunately. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Commissioner first? Okay, seeing none, moving on to Maui, Commissioner Michael Johnson.
Thank you. Not a lot to update. Waiahuli is still closed. That hunting area that was open last year, I think it's still in the works, but I haven't heard any updates on reopening that. Kanaio, Nicholas already touched base on that, so that's good news. So it'll be exciting to hear about the future of that. Again, the Poli cabin, if you're hunting up there, just be very cautious and do not bring weapons into the cabin if you're staying at the cabin. That was an issue. So just reiterating that. Bird season's coming. As of our last meeting, we're still having the release of a few hundred or chuckers and pheasants And that's starting soon, early November, I think, first date, is it Saturday? No,
First Saturday,
November first.
first of
Okay,
Saturday.
So that's gonna be exciting. And Hawaiʻi now, so that program, that eradication program, which was a great opportunity for hunters, has been shut down at the moment. I'm trying to find out more about it or see if somehow I can facilitate that to reopen. It's a great opportunity for hunters, even the youth, to go out there and help with the endangered plants that are being wiped out by the goats mostly. Not too many deer in there anymore, but there are deer in there. But I'd like to see that reopen. That program was really fun and a good opportunity for a lot of hunters there.
What, can you say what that program was again?
The Hawaiʻi Canal over there. I think that was a
Yeah.
NARS program. I think that's through DOFA, I believe, right? So that'd be great to get that going again somehow, and I'd love to be a part of that if that's what it takes. Or I've been talking to Jeff Saito as well about that. He's one of the hunters there, so that would be good. And on that note, being another area that's been closed down, I started having some interest in the possibility of talking with our legislatures about a deer management assistance program, the DMAP, which allows working with private landowners and getting public hunting on those lands. We have a lot of big ranches and a lot of private land that would benefit from that, especially with our problem in Maui with the deer, pigs, and even goats, depending on where you are on the island. I'd like to somehow spearhead that or become maybe a steward on getting that going. There's a lot of opportunities for landowners and hunters, and working together would really help. And that also kind of maybe ties in with Nikolai about finding ways to get some game management and numbers associated with all that. So I think that kind of rolls in even with what Richard was saying about that. I mean, it's a win-win, especially for our problem on Maui with all of our ungulates. So that's about all I have for now.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Does anyone have any questions or comments for him? So I have one. So Oahu Pig Hunters Association, I believe they had their own insurance.
Yeah.
Yes, liability
Jason.
insurance. So maybe that would work in Maui, where the hunters would get together, form a club, have the insurance, because a lot of the landowners, they worry about liability.
Right.
Okay, so if you can get them to organize and, get insurance, and I think that would be half the burden of, hunting on the lands.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I definitely agree with that. That being said, I have actively participated with groups of hunters on Molokai for several years now. You probably all know the Molokai Ranch properties there offer an opportunity for local residents to sign up to hunt various ranch properties once a month, up to once a month. And I've participated with friends who live over there as part of their groups. We're not organized groups in the sense of that we're carrying liability insurance, but every single hunter signs a liability release waiver before we enter the property and gives a copy of our hunter license number and driver's license information. And that seems to be sufficient for Molokai Ranch. I'm not an attorney, but I do think that there's ways to that liability issues could be covered
Absolutely.
for ranch owners in Maui County as well, reasonably. That being said, I think the idea of having more folks organize and, form clubs to have, formal documentation, insurance coverage, et cetera, is a fantastic idea. And if that's what it takes to get more access, like, let's do it,
Yep.
Yeah, especially, I mean, we have such high deer population numbers. It's an essential way to manage the herd numbers and help. We don't need to have another emergency proclamation when we can just, have hunters that can come and do it. And
I'll come over.
Yeah.
We can all do it the right way.
I would like to just throw something in that's loosely related to that, but if I could propose for discussion for another meeting, and that's the $50 per tail bounty program that has been going on. You know, in talking with folks that are more familiar, my understanding from them is that the original intent was that that money was supposed to be tied in with hunter access to properties and even not necessarily all of the funding going towards the landowner, but some of that portion of that money going towards the hunting group so that they could pay for gas for the trucks, ammunition, you know, small kind expenses associated with the hunt. And, you know, I'm not gonna push my luck, like if it's just hunter access that we can gain out of that, I think that's great. But if it's state procured funds that are going towards private landowners, there has to be something that we get in return. And I think hunter access, public access to those properties is a minimum. So if we could, you know, put that on the future agenda for item to discuss.
Okay, is that still a ongoing project right now? Okay. I see Jonah Vieira raising your hand. At this time, please unmute and can you turn on your camera and please testify for us?
Hello, everybody. 1 second. Get my camera on here for a second. Hello, everyone. I just want to go ahead and agree with the director there from Maui. HCNS used to have this waiver that they would allow us hunters to sign to enter the cane fields for pig eradication, and I would actually like to see that come back with mahi pono. In order to help with like the deer eradication, especially with how he said down by the other place, Hihikinau. I'm an avid fisherman, avid hunter, and I've been seeing a lot of goats and pigs and deers directly on the beach, and actually had a few close accidents, with deers running across the road down there by Nazca's Kanaha area. I'm pretty sure that some of you guys may know it, but they just put up a huge deer fence that I'm actually happy about because the problem of the deers down there is crazy. And yeah, just on behalf of the hunters, I would actually like to see that style of programming come back into it, and not just for Maui, a lot for like the other islands too. But yeah, that's all I just gotta say. I just gotta agree with that one right there.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Right on, Jonah. Thank you. Any questions for him from the commissioners? Comments? Okay. Thank you for your time, Jonah. Okay, moving on to, I'll go last. Moving on to Jason Sanborn. He's still a commissioner? Are you still on?
He was there.
We lost.
I think we lost him.
I think we lost him. Okay, I'll go next. Okay, so I met with Shane last week or the week before when they did their aerial survey of the game management area. And I haven't got the results yet from that. He's still in the process of doing the calculations. Mouflon season hunting, we have 8th weekend this weekend, 9th weekend is the M next weekend. It's kind of half and half. Guys been shooting, guys haven't been seeing. So it's kind of like, I would say half and half. Same with the deer population. I know that, a lot of hunters that I've talked to that come to the island, they want to see more animals. And they agree that the animal counts are down, especially for the deer. So that would be, one of the comments that all the hunters have. What else do we have? We're gonna have a annual meeting for the hunters to meet with DOFA, with Shane DeMatos and John Maderos, and I believe you're coming over on October 23rd. As a new date for our meeting on Lanai with the public. So we look forward to that. I don't know when the deer tags are coming out, but it should be shortly. And I think that would be it for my report on Lanai. Thank you. Anyone, any questions from anyone? Comments? Okay,
I
Nikolai,
get one question.
go ahead.
Just out of curiosity, when I was just curious, like when half the hunters say they never see nothing, and then the other half did, you got any
Yes,
insights like why that might be? Like, was it the part of the island they went to, or anything like that?
I cannot figure it out, but I think it comes down to experience. You know, guys that have been coming over for many, many years, they kind of know where their favorite spots are. And the new people that come over, they don't know where to go. And also maybe as you get older, you know, you don't want to travel as far, you know, so you just stay next to the road. It could be a lot of factors. You know, it's been dry. I guess we're in a drought season and not too much. Well, it's a normal season for summertime without feed, but at least DOFA puts out water troughs.
Nice, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the report from the Big Island, Jason Sanborn.
Aloha. I sorry, I lost you guys a little while. I was trying to flip screens. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah, just got two things to discuss. Actually, maybe wanting a little bit more clarity. Talk to a few hunters. The limiting or restricting the use of dogs on Mauna Kea. Maybe it's a Jason Omic question. I didn't know how to answer this question, but has that been banned? Is that officially official?
Restricting the use of dogs on Mauna Kea, I can't answer that right now. I'd have to maybe talk to the West Hawaii biologist. I'm not sure why they would do that. But I do remember a conversation about that. So I can get back to you. Maybe I can get the answer before we end here, Jason.
Okay.
But you're saying right now they're saying that dogs are not allowed to be used on Mauna Kea.
Right, because of the sensitivity, some sensitive animals, and just, you know, it's not they were talking about it being prohibited. So I didn't know how to quite answer it. But yeah, wanting actually a little bit more clarification, and I didn't reach out to Josh Pangching. I was on my to-do list, and I was out of town, and I fumbled on that. But and then the other thing I had was I was in close contact with Josh Pangching about the DKI highway sheep capture that was happening right past on state land that boundaries with Hawaiian Homes, and they had set up you know, dates and aerial drive, and set up a whole bunch of I guess fencing and stuff to kind of thin down the numbers and limit the hitting of the, you know, the animals on the DKIY highway. And again, I think they pushed that back as well. It was supposed to happen last month, and then I don't think it happened. So I just had those two questions, and then but I didn't know how to answer them, and I told them I'd get back to them. So that was kind of all I had.
Jason, this is Nick Vargas, DOFA.
Yeah.
So I can speak on the sheep drive.
Okay.
So what happens, the program is still gonna continue. I know Josh was still interested in doing it. The only issue was that when they set up, I guess the sheep moved somewhere else. So majority of the group left, and so they're gonna wait till the sheep migrate back to that one spot. So yeah, they still want to do it.
I see.
Yeah, it's just the movement of the animals.
I see. I see. Okay. 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 And yeah, and that's what that's what I heard too. That it's just somebody said, "Oh, they're not there anymore." So I kind of
Yeah,
left it at that.
exactly.
Okay. Okay. All right.
One other comment, I just happened to look on the adaptive management rules that were released last year. And it does actually say for Unit A, Mauna Kea Management Area, Gme Forest Reserve, dogs not permitted.
Hmm. I don't think and so this is new then, yeah? This is actually passed last year and gonna be implemented for this coming bird season?
This was their adaptive management rules that were effective as of March 18th, 2024 and expire March 18th, 2026.
Hmm.
But I think there is an option to extend those.
Well, dogs are allowed for bird hunting, like that's not changed.
Right, no, this is for game animals.
Yeah, game animals.
Game mammal. Okay, right, okay. But bird,
Yeah, bird hunting for sure. I guess there's not a lot of people hunting pig with dog on Mauna Kea.
I see.
So, but and we've done some special hunts with dogs, allowing it for a short time, but for game bird, definitely dogs are allowed.
I see. Okay. Yeah, because it's very vague from what I could gather about it. It said prohibited animals and it just says dogs. And because to protect the fragile environment, the mountains and alpine environment, home to unique flora and fauna, including the uau, which could be harmed by dogs. And
where are you seeing this language at?
this was sent to me. I'm not sure. I'm not sure the source. I can get that though. I can get the source. It goes to say that hunting restrictions, there are no allowances for bird hunting or training dogs for hunting on Mauna Kea.
Okay,
And so-
well, what we can do is we can send you the actual current rules. And
Okay.
what they say.
Okay.
So you're clear on that.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
definitely get your answer tomorrow.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Commissioner Sanborn, is that the end of your report?
That was, thank you.
Okay, right on. Thank you, thank you. Okay, any questions on email or Zoom?
Chair, this is Abraham Antonio from the Big Island. I got a comment.
Yes, go ahead, Abraham.
So I know what Jason, or my representative Sanborn, is talking about. There was recently some posting going on social media about the prohibition of the dogs on the mountain, but that's only for October because they're releasing the new birds, and Kanalu Sprout, responded to that post, and it's basically when they release the birds, they like the birds stay within the areas that they introducing the new birds within the month of October, because within the game conditioning of the dogs going potentially push the birds into other neighboring properties. So the Kanalo is trying to, or the team is trying to keep the birds within the state lands for the start of bird season, instead of having the dogs stay there and practice and chase the birds out. So that was something that they just came up with this year, that Kanalu guys are trying. They're going to reevaluate it after this year and see what happens. And if it works, then they might put it in for next year or whatever. But it's something that they're trying brand new this year. That is only for bird dogs. Now, my question is same thing as Jason Sanborn, like what dogs are they talking about? Is it just bird dogs, or now are we talking about like hog dogs or just all dogs in general? But as far as I know, this situation is just for bird dogs, just for the month of October.
Mm.
Thank you, Abraham, for that clarification. Any questions for him? Nick?
No, I'm
okay.
I'm gonna get that answer and I'll definitely give it to you guys tomorrow.
All right. So you had anything more, Jason? Sanborn? I see you shaking over.
Yeah. No, I'm okay. Thank you.
Okay.
But yeah,
Right
little further clarification, if I could go an email, Nick Vargas, that'd be appreciated. I appreciate that.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Okay. Right on, thank you. Moving on to item 8, setting future meeting schedules, locations, and potential agenda items. So, what would the commissioners want to see? For me, I know we said that after we meet in Oahu, the next meeting will be in East Hawaii. Is that still feasible?
Yeah.
For like December, October, November? Yeah, December. Our December meeting.
December. I contacted the Hilo manager today while I had.
Okay,
He said there's potential that we could use the base yard conference room,
okay.
but I want to make sure that it's
And
gonna
could
be
we
enough
keep the
space.
meeting time the same, 5 to
Yeah.
7:30, 8 o'clock?
You guys have a date for that?
It's usually the
Oh, no, it's the
first
first, yeah.
Wednesday
So that's gonna be
of the month.
first Wednesday is gonna be December 3rd,
Okay,
5 to 7.
so,
And then I'll confirm on the location.
okay.
Yeah.
So if possible, if you can make it, commissioners, to the Big Island, it'll be helpful. And we're gonna meet the, I guess the Hawaii GMAC that they have established there, and then we can, so brush up on the proposal that was given to us. So as far as agenda, I guess we can email you when we.
We have a few things already in our
Yeah,
list for
okay,
agenda items that you guys asked for, so we'll
Yeah.
have those if you guys think of anything else.
Okay, that sounds good.
I've started two topics from you guys from this conversation.
Right on, right on.
Two for sure.
Okay, and then, so that's December meeting, so, in February, we're going to Maui,
Oh, great.
okay? And then we'll go to Maui, and then for March, we're gonna visit, Nikolai in Kauai. Okay, sound good, everybody?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, get with, Nick, if you have anything else to add on the agenda. So is it keeping the first Wednesday of the month, good for you guys?
So far.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, any public comments on Zoom or email?
See no hands raised on Zoom, email.
Okay, thank you, Nick. Moving on to item number 9, announcements. You have anything, Nick?
Yeah, just a quick thing, because it's one of the action items from the last meeting.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna share my screen.
Oh, okay. Internet went down here.
Okay, so I wanted to show the. My volume is. Okay. That might be an echo. Okay. Okay, Commissioner, sorry. Turn the microphone on that. Okay, I wanted to show you guys where you guys can see your GMAC Commissioner SharePoint folder that I made for you guys. A lot of the stuff that was brought up today, like Nikolai's presentation, any of like documents that you guys have, maps or issues, I was hoping to be able to use this SharePoint folder for you guys, and you guys can just on there. Also, if the public reaches out to you for these documents, right, like the game management plan, like the last meeting, I have it on here. So only can you press the next tab on the right, it'll show the SharePoint folder on the top. So I'm getting blocked by the turn up volume, so click on that. Yeah. Okay. So this is the SharePoint. I don't know if you
I am hearing the weirdest echo.
I'm gonna turn the, or can you access it?
I don't want you to stop because that's recording right now. Anyways, this is the SharePoint folder. All the folders are, you can just like look through this website and you'll be able to see your specific folders. I gave you guys folders for the names. We also have the progress tracker list, issue tracker list. This is stuff that we can, what I'll do is I'll list it off on whatever we have from the agenda from today, or the meeting, the minutes. I'll add it on there so we can keep tabs on it, so that way we don't forget topics. Yeah. Or anything like that. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it. Okay, thank you, Nick. Maybe it's just an internal request. When we post agendas, like the headers over here, can we?
There. Is that it?
Hello, hello. Okay,
Yeah.
I can hear one. Okay, so looking at the agenda, okay, it's nice to know those people, but I think the public will want to know us. Okay, so can we make one just for the GMAC, what's it called, people?
Like a GMAC letterhead?
Yes,
We can,
I mean, we can use their seal, but,
yeah, we can talk to leadership about that. Nalaheli, I think, has something like that. But when we, I think, tried, yeah, I think we can actually do that. Let me just talk to folks.
Yeah.
I know that some of the other commissions have that, but there is some rules on what we have to do if we decide to do that.
okay.
And
Well, maybe you can just leave that and then at least on the top line, list, you know, the commissioners and yourself and Nick,
yeah, for sure.
you know, because, you know, people come to these meetings and they don't know us or what our, you know, positions are. So at least that'll give them forehand, you know, information.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, thank you. Okay, are there any other announcements or comments or questions?
I don't want to delay you guys. I think the main thing that I would like to just, we talked about already that game bird season's coming up at the end of the month. So just, if you guys can field any calls from hunters on your guys' end.
Okay.
And I do have an update on the division's game bird programs. Hawaii has 500 ringneck pheasants, 200 chuckers. Hawaii Island, their volunteer program has 200 ringneck pheasants. Keao High School has 190 chuckers. DOFA is rearing 350 ringneck pheasants, 150 chuckers, and 50 California quail.
Wow.
Maui is doing 307 ringneck pheasants, 195 chuckers. Oahu is working with Waipahu High School for the first time this year. They got about 30 chuckers. DOFA has 62 ringneck hybrids, 15 chuckers. Our Waialua volunteer program has 48 chuckers, 60 ringneck hens, and 30 ringneck roosters.
So when you work with the students, do they take care of the animals or the birds from incubation?
We give it to them as day old chicks.
As day old chicks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good, good.
it would be nice to have it.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's something that,
Yeah.
I mean, I did that for chickens when I was very small and I can
Yeah.
still remember that. And then when I used to hatch birds, the king birds, all the kids used to, they just, you know, watch the eggs come out and hold the bird. And
This program is the best because you can actually hold wildlife.
yeah, yeah.
It's, you know, get the kids get involved.
Okay,
Like a lot of
good.
the times we have our native species, which, you know,
Yeah,
it's very
yeah.
limited people. So the kids can actually hold a pheasant. We see it all.
Right on, awesome. I got a task for our commissioners. So by our next meeting in December, please meet with your hunting community. Ask them questions on what they want to see on GMAC or what kind of concerns they have, you know, and then bring that to the meeting in December. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so I guess that's it for everyone. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting. Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion.
Okay, motion seconded by Commissioner Johnson. Any discussion? Seeing none. This meeting is adjourned at 7:22 PM. Thank you, everyone on the public. We have only Jonah and Kalani right now, but thank you for coming to our meeting, and thank you, commissioners, staff, Jason Omek, Nick Vargas. We'll see you in Big Island.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, gentlemen. Aloha.
aloha.
See ya.
See you guys. Good seeing you.
Okay, that time.